Hello friends, a very warm welcome to all of you on the Prince Civil Services YouTube channel. My name is Chitranshu Pandey and today in this video I am going to discuss with you a very important topic, and that is FATF's grey list. It was in the news in the recent times. In this video we will not only discuss this grey list but also we will discuss the FATF, and then we will discuss why Pakistan is in the grey list of this FATF and what is the current situation going on with the Pakistan. So this topic belongs to GS paper 3 of UPSC examination. The subtopics of money laundering, terror funding, and also this topic belongs to world organizations, which is a part of GS paper 2, international relations. Today in this video, we are going to discuss first that why this was in news again. Then we will discuss what is actually the FATF, what was the motive of creating this organization, and what does it do. Then we will discuss what is the grey list of FATF, and further we will discuss that what impact does a country have by after putting it in the FATF grey list. And at last but not least, we will discuss the situation of Pakistan, what's going on with the Pakistan and what is the current situation. So let's start the video. So first is why is in news again. So recently Pakistan got a reprieve from the Financial Action Task Force, as FATF announced that the country could be removed from the grey list. That means in the last month, June 2022, FATF announced that Pakistan could be removed from the grey list, but they will decide that on the upcoming session of Berlin. So FATF has said that they could remove Pakistan from the grey list in the upcoming session of Berlin 2022. Pakistan has been in the list since June 2018. So Pakistan is currently in the list of FATF grey list, and it is in the list since June 2018. And let me tell you one more fact, that it was in the list from 2008 to 10 and 2012 to 14. Pakistan was again to more than 2 times in the list. It was in the list in 2008, then 2012, and then 2018. So let's move further. We will discuss what is actually FATF. So FATF was established on 1989 by a G7 summit in Paris. So as you all know, G7 was established on 1975, and on 1899 there was a summit going on in the Paris, and then the G7 nation decided to make a world organization to tackle the money laundering, and further they will tackle the terror funding. So it was established by G7 nations on July 1899 in a summit. Initial aim was to establish this organization was to develop measures to combat money laundering. As I told you, the first aim was to tackle or to combat money laundering. But after the 9/11 attacks, as we all know, it was the first attack on the US territory by Al-Qaeda, a terror organization. So after that attack, the FATF expanded its mandate and to incorporate efforts of terror financing. So initially the aim was to create the organization was to prevent money laundering in the world, but after the attack of 9/11, the aim was expanded to terror funding. So currently FATF has 2 aims, which is money laundering, of course, and then terror funding. The FATF currently comprises 37 members. So there are currently 37 members, in which there are 2 organizations as well, which is Gulf Cooperation and European Commission. 37 members plus 2 organizations. That means there are currently 39 members of this organization. Its secretariat is located at OECD headquarters of Paris. So currently the headquarters of FATF is in Paris, in the headquarters of OECD. If you don't know, then OECD represent Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. India has been a member of FATF since 2010. So if any questions comes in an exam that when India became a member of FATF, then the answer is 2010. FATF plenary meets 3 times per year. FATF has a plenary which meets 3 times in a year. As I told you in the first slide that FATF recently meet in June and then they told that they will decide whether to take Pakistan off from the grey list in October. So that means there are currently 3 times FATF plenary meets in the year. So what is the grey list about which we are talking about? So actually grey list is a list of countries that are considered safe haven for supporting terror funding. So if a country becomes a safe haven and support terror funding, a best example is Pakistan, in which there are a lot of terror organizations like Al-Qaeda, Jaish-e-Mohammed and all. So if a country is supporting terror funding and money laundering, then FATF puts that country in the grey list. As of March 2022, there are currently 23 countries on the FATF grey list, which include Syria, which include Myanmar, which include uh, Thailand and Malaysia as well. So there are these are the few countries which is in the grey list of FATF, and Pakistan is also a part of grey list because of that terror funding and money laundering. Blacklist, there's another list of FATF which is the blacklist, and blacklist is the country is a list which considers the countries known as the non-cooperative countries or territories are put in the blacklist. It means that countries which are non-cooperating and which are the haven of a safe haven of terror funding and money laundering are put in blacklist, and there are currently 2 countries in the blacklist. First one is North Korea and second one is Iran. So there are 2 lists of FATF. First one is grey list. There are currently 23 countries in the grey list. Pakistan is also a part of grey list, and there is a second list which is black list, in which countries that are non-cooperative and non-cooperating in terms of money laundering and terror funding are put in the blacklist. Currently there are 2 countries in the blacklist. First one is Iran and second one is North Korea. So how does a country impact, how does the grey list impact a country? Imagine if any country is put in the grey list, how can it impact? What is the negative aspect of all this? So actually if any country put in the grey list, then it signals that global financial and banking system of that particular country, it has increased risk in transactions with her country in question. That means the overall the banking system and the financial system of that country comes under the question. And if any country's financial system comes under the question, and definitely the investment in terms of FDI, in terms of FII decreases over the time because the financial system is not stable and not trustable. So less FDI and less FII, then that means the financial system of that country or the economy of that country decreases over the time, GDP growth rate decreases, and then country can face the economic crisis. Currently, Pakistan is facing economic crisis due to this situation because Pakistan is a part of grey list of that FATF. A grey listed country faces complications in accessing international lending instruments. Like there are world organizations that fund the countries in terms of any help of anything. They are currently IMF, World Bank, and other UNO agencies that helps any country in the deep trouble. Like currently Sri Lanka is in deep trouble and IMF is funding that country. So if there is a country in the grey list, then these organization doesn't fund that country. So you cannot get funds from these world organizations. So these are the 2 major negative impacts a country could have if it put in the grey list. At last, we will discuss that what is the current situation of Pakistan. So as I told you, that Pakistan is a part of grey list since June 2018. And before that, there was 2 more time when Pakistan has been put on the grey list. But since June 2028, Pakistan has been given 34 tasks to complete, and out of this 32 were completed by the Pakistan, as Pakistan claimed to FATF. But Pakistan has asked FATF to put him off from the grey list because it has deep impacts on the economy, and since it has completed 32 tasks, so FATF has announced that they will check the last remaining 2 tasks whether it has been completed by Pakistan or not, and then in the Berlin session of October 2022 they will remove the Pakistan from the grey list. Pakistan has to fulfill the task recommended by FATF. As I told you, there were 34 tasks. For instance, confiscating properties of individuals associated with terrorist groups. तो ये टास्क थे उनके लिए कि वो अपने टेररिस्ट ग्रुप को कम करें, उनकी टेरर फंडिंग को कम करें और ये टास्क को पूरा करें. पाकिस्तान इकोनॉमी इज इन पुअर शेप. As I told you, there is a economic crisis going on in the Pakistan, just like Sri Lanka. It's up to the time whether it will come up in the upfront, and it is staring at a low reserve of foreign exchange. So Pakistan has there is a decrease in the FII and FDI in Pakistan, as I told you. Also, they are not getting the enough funding from the world organizations, so their foreign exchange reserve has been decreased over the time, and their economy is going on very badly. So this was all the situation, and that's why Pakistan is trying their best to remove themselves from the grey list. So this was all the situation of FATF and Pakistan. If you like the video, please hit the like button and share this video with your friends. Thanks for watching. Let's meet in the new video.